Hello and welcome back, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to another week with me, Justin Garner. I have an empty house. I've cleared all the things out of my front room so we can get stuck into some photography. This week we're going to be looking at product photography and we're going to be focusing on whiskey. In the lockdown I did a shot of a miniature whiskey glass, so we're going to be looking at how I did that, and I thought it'd be nice to create a video on that. So I haven't got a miniature this time, I've got a larger bottle, and this is Tarma Veiling, and this was a present from my girlfriend, so got a nice bottle of whiskey. I haven't opened it yet, even though I've been wanting to, been waiting to do this, so so I don't know what it tastes like. I have also got some nice whiskey glasses, which I think will help the shoot as well. So what we're going to look at is, we're going to look at how I did the lighting, the props that I've used, the angle, and yeah, just generally how I go about creating that image that I did. So let's stop speaking and let's get stuck in. Okay, so because the Tarma Veiling's not open and we've got an empty glass, I want the glass to be filled with what looks like the same product. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the colours of the whiskey to work out which one best suits really. So this is a little bit lighter, and this is it's almost in between both of those really. Probably gonna go. I'm probably going to go with this, which is a Jura, which is a little bit darker, and I think you won't notice when it's in the glass. Okay, so looking at the setup that I have gone for, I chose a brown backdrop to complement the whiskey. I wanted it all to be brown. I've used this, which is an old cabinet which had a gramophone in it, and I've chosen this for the edge here, so almost just using this bit here. But I didn't want it to overstate the whiskey. I wanted the whiskey to stand out, and I just wanted this to be interesting, but also not over the top really. I had a problem with the glass. Now the glass was getting reflections on this side, and it was getting this really orange block that was running along it. So I just had to move it around to work out how I could get away with not having that in. And positioning it where I positioned it worked, and it worked for it not like things reflecting and standing out, and I just felt like that was the best place for composition, and also the way that light was reacting to this shape. I also, when you pour whiskey in this glass, it was going all on the sides and dripping down. I can see it dripping down now, so I actually had to pour it and then go away for about half an hour to an hour just to wait for it to settle before I could actually go and take some pictures. So that's the setup part. Let's look at the camera part. Okay, so just looking at the camera, I've got my 5D Mark III, and I've got a 50mm lens on the front, which I use for product photography. Just moving round to the back of the camera, I set the camera on a lower angle to the actual bottle, and I just kind of wanted to look up to the bottle rather than be level with the bottle, and that was to get some kind of angle as well on the piece of furniture that I have used. The other thing that I have on the camera is I've got two triggers, one that triggers the Bowens strobe lights, and I've got another trigger that's communicating with the speed light, which is just over to the back, which we'll go and have a look at now. So this is the setup for my speed light. The speed light here is set to quite a low power. This is one of the triggers that communicates to the camera, and on the front of the speed light, I've got this rogue grid, and I didn't want the flash to go everywhere. I just wanted it to be lighting up this part of the bottle so that the liquid inside was had some colour to it as well. This also helped light up the whiskey glass as well. So looking at the this light that's on the floor, so this is one of the strobes, and this is for lighting the background up. What I've got on the front here, I've got a grid on the front to stop the light from spilling everywhere, and then I've got one of these homemade diffusers. This is just a piece of foam board with tracing paper, and I've just placed that over the front there, and that's just to soften the light up. I had to play around with this, lighting the background up, and what I was after was I wanted a grade, I wanted it to go dark in the corners, kind of like a vignette, so I played around with this, where to put it. I also wanted the light to be focused behind where the bottle was in line with the camera. So it's a bit of playing around with this, but generally when I'm doing quite a few light setups, I'll start off with this light. I'll start off with light in the background, and then I'll move on to the next light. So the next light I'd probably use would be lighting up the product. So the last two lights that we have are this big oblong softbox, and I've gone for an oblong softbox so that it can create a line along the whiskey bottle, and that's what I was after with this. So I've got this line going across, and then with the light from here, it's bouncing off this reflector, and the reflector was bouncing onto here to illuminate the front edge of the of this cabinet. It's also illuminated a little bit of the bottle as well, which actually helps too. The power of this is about 1/4 of the power of the light, so it wasn't like kicking out the highest power using this strobe light. So there we have it. My front room now smells like a Scottish distillery. Yeah, the smell is quite nice, but only if you like whiskey. So the shoot today has looked at my workflow and my setup I use to achieve that image, photographing a whiskey bottle and a glass basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to list in the description all of the equipment that I've used. If you've made it this far to the end of the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. This is the final image. Thanks for watching. Bye.